Well, I'm a bit of an unlikely person to do yoga. I guess you'd say I had a background of being a long distance runner from a young age, really bad knees, so forth, done some weights and I getting really, really tight. I also had a disc issue and my movement was really, really bad, especially for someone of like 23 years of age. And then my dad, and I always say it's the luckiest thing ever, went to the library and picked up a book on yoga. And I remember coming home as a youngster and watching my dad in his underpants standing on his head, and it become something to laugh about, joke about, and I used to take the mickey out of his attempts at yoga to begin with. And then I'll never forget the one day I see yoga really work, and he's walking down the corridor and he picked something up and he moved so fluidly that I just kind of stopped and went, wow, how does he do that? So I stopped and asked him and he's like, yoga. And like everyone, like I hear the word yoga and I go, yeah, but it must be something else. What else? No, just yoga. So I then thought, well, I've got to try this. I've got to at least do something. If it done that for him, what could it do for me? So I set myself 2 months of doing yoga. And I remember it came to the last day of that 2 months and I walked into the yoga and I was really happy because I'm thinking, I'm not going to do yoga anymore. I'd given it 2 months. And back then I'd done a thing called British Wheeler Yoga and we used to do different postures every class. But luckily this time we'd done a posture that I'd done the very first week I was there. And I gained only a fraction, like a millimetre of extra movement, but I'd never gained movement in my body in my life. And I went, that's it, that was my sign. My body can change. Even if it's a millimetre, it can change, it can move, I can build flexibility. And that was that. From then on I said I must go all the time. And I'd done British Wheel for about 3 years. Then someone at work said, there's a new yoga open up. You're the only person I know who does yoga. Do you want to come with me? And I turned up for a Bikram class. And 10 years later, 11 years later, the rest is history. It's just been Bikram. I hated it. I remember I had a disc issue. It felt to me, because I didn't understand what was going on, it felt painful. And I remember coming out of the class and I walked out and I went to the teacher, I have no idea what you've done to me, but you'll never see me again. And then that evening, the most weirdest thing ever happened. My body fought my mind the whole night. Like I said, I'm never going back there. And then my hand reached and set the alarm clock. I remember my mind going, not going, but I set the alarm. But my mind going, that's all right, you can turn it off in the morning when it goes off. And the alarm went off in the morning and my body got out of bed and my mind went, turn the alarm off, go back to bed. And this happened as I walked to the car. I'm in the car, I'm driving the car, and my mind's going, turn around, Mark, this is not important, go home. But my body just drove me there. And I remember turning up to the exact woman that I turned around and said, you'll never see me again. And I said, I have absolutely no idea why I'm here. I said, but I'm here. And that was that. From that day forth, with something, my body always took me to class until my mind caught up. My mind caught on, and then my back repaired, and all the problems that I thought were caused by it were actually alleviating it. Suddenly I got healthier and happier, and become a yoga addict, I guess, and then eventually a yoga teacher. Just the chance to work with people, to see, because everyone comes in thinking they're the only ones with these problems, these pains and so forth, and we're not, and we all get together in a room, and I have that chance to say, hey, struggle a little harder, and eventually they get that, they understand that, and then they take that outside into their everyday life. And the improvements they make in the room get mirrored outside, and you watch someone's happiness start to spread as their flexibility starts to spread, their breathing starts to spread, their calmness, and it's just phenomenal to be in that position to help transform people and help them understand themselves. That's why I teach that moment when someone's mind and body connect, and you know you've had a hand in that. That's worth far more than any money you could earn or anything. It's the best job in the world. So that's one reason I came to Perth to work for you guys at North and South. It's a chance to spread some more yoga love into the community. All over the place. We started, I met my wife through the yoga, and they said to her, does she want to come travelling with me? And she said yes. So we then packed up our lives and we went off to the Philippines, taught there, taught Singapore, taught back again in the Philippines, taught through America. We've also helped do the staff for the teacher training twice. We've worked through Australia, New Zealand. We've done obviously some in England, some places in Europe. Kind of all over the place. That's our job, to travel the world, to teach and to pass the message of yoga on. I like to be a little bit stronger, I guess. I say that generally because I want them the best out of them. And sometimes you have to just gently nudge people into finding the best of themselves. So, yeah, I'll hopefully give you a hard time, but in the right way. And whatever it is done with love. It's strict love. That's the way I call it.